What's up, Undisputed listeners? It's your boy, Sharpe. I wanted to tell you about my new podcast, Club Shay, where we always do something before two something. Each week, I sit down with a guest for a drink and conversation, and as host and proprietor of Club Shay, I've welcomed in esteemed guests such as Snoop Dogg, Floyd Money Mayweather, LeVar Ball, Isaiah Thomas, just to mention a few. Whether I'm talking to an athlete, a musician, an actor, or a lifelong friend, Club Shay is a place where people share inspiring and motivational stories about their journeys to prominence. The new episode drops every Monday on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe to Club Shay now and make sure you never miss a new episode. Now back to Undisputed.
Welcome to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. They've got a busy slate, so skip Shannon. Let's get to it.
Welcome to Undisputed. We are live from Los Angeles. I'm Jenny Taft here with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
How are
last night? Slim Reaper and Uncle Drew.
I just hope poor LeBron James didn't have nightmares last night after he watched the Nets and the Clippers, because that was a finals preview.
Oh, really?
Yeah, oh, really.
Way to go out on the limb.
Yeah.
A team that's going to have 5 All-Stars, and you went out on the limb and said that's going to be the finals preview.
Well, that's the point.
Way to go out on the limb, Skip.
Okay.
You think LeBron was watching it?
Pick Philly. What would you pick Philly?
Yeah, I bet LeBron watched every dribble of that game.
We watch all the games.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
Yep.
We're going to get to everything from that game that I know both of you are very excited to discuss, but we're going to begin the show by discussing Tom Brady, who continues to receive some criticism for the MAGA hat in his locker over 4 years ago. In Brady's press conference Monday, USA Today referenced Shannon's point from last week that there's a double standard for white athletes when it comes to guilt by association. When asked if he thought he was getting a pass on the topic, Brady replied, quote, "I'm not sure how to respond to hypothetical questions like that." So, Shannon, in your opinion, how much do you still hold the hat against Tom Brady?
First of all, this is not a hypothetical. And thank you, Nancy Armour. And you see my point, Skip? When I said it, we got like 20, people like, oh, really? Oh, he just talking.
No, they didn't.
No, I'm just saying. But Nancy Armour put the pen to paper what I verbalized. And she did it so eloquently, like, yes, he gets to dodge where we don't get that opportunity.
No, but you said that.
I did.
And it stuck. It resonated.
That's my point.
Okay.
Is that what Tom doesn't understand is that his privilege, his skin alone, has afforded him luxury that has nothing to do with his football ability. That's what privilege is that you think that you get these things because you've done something great. You were born to 2 white parents. That is the privilege that we're trying to get Tom to see. And Nancy Armour laid it out so eloquently. That's what I'm trying to say, Skip.
Yep.
And my thing is, I don't hold it against Tom. He said, that's my friend and I'm riding with him. Tom could have easily said, look, I've known Donald 5 years. I've known President Trump now, Donald at the time, President Trump now. I've known him 5 or 10 years. He's a friend of mine. But some of his policies, some of his rhetoric, it rubs me the wrong way. Instead of trying to pretend like, oh, but guys, I just try to be a good football player. I try to be a good teammate. I try to be upstanding in my community. Come on, bro. Black athletes don't get that luxury. We have to explain, what is it that you find so fascinating about Mr. Farrakhan? What is it? So just imagine, we're going to take somebody prominent. Let's say Patrick Mahomes. He has an NOI, Nation of Islam.
Well, you started with LeBron.
Yes, but I'm just saying.
Go to the top. Go to the...
What would we say? We're not going to just say, oh, that's just a hat. We're not going to let him just say, they're just brushing off, it's just a hat, Skip. That would never happen.
Okay.
But he gets to brush it off and says, oh, guys, that's just front and center. It's called product placement, Skip. They put the stuff that they really want you to see, they put that eye level. Okay. He could have put that up under the cleats. He could have put it in the back of the locker. Nobody would have ever saw it. He put it front and center because he wanted you to see it.
Absolutely.
So I don't, Skip. He's entitled to support who he wants to support. He's entitled to believe who he wants to believe.
Yes.
What he wants to believe in. But don't tell me there's not a double standard. Skip, they tried to cancel LeBron. You remember last year there was a firestorm. Daryl Morey tweeted something, and then Ted Cruz got up there and said LeBron kisses up the dictators because of what's going on in China and Hong Kong. China and Hong Kong.
Yep.
Whoa!
Okay.
They ain't done by Tom Brady. You see, they want LeBron to explain his stance. Well, why you not saying anything? You talk about Black Lives Matter. Why you not talking about the people in Hong Kong? They never asked Tom, will you support Donald Trump? Do you support Black Lives Matter? They never do that.
I mean, he's been asked that before.
And what did he do? He dodged it every time.
Right.
Skip, before I turn it over to you, think about what happened on January 6th. There was a Blue Lives Matter that lost his life in a protest. The way it was an insurrection. Ain't no police officer lost their life when George Floyd and all these protests. There were 100 protests. Not one person died. A police officer. In the insurrection, somebody died in what? Let's sweep this up under the rug. You see, that's all I'm saying, Skip. There's two sides. There's two sides of this, and black athletes and black people are asked and treated differently than white athletes and our white counterparts.
Okay, I got it. I hear every word you just spoke. It is painfully obvious to me that white privilege operates every day, every minute, every second in this country. So I am 1,000% with you there. Before I have a whole lot to say. Before I go, I want to make sure, go back to the question that Jenny asked. Do you hold the hat against him?
No, I don't hold the hat against him. I know what he is. That's why he won't explain himself. He wants, look, Skip.
Okay, what is he?
He supports Donald Trump. He supports a lot of what Donald Trump is about.
Okay, so just so I'm clear on this, I'm not passing judgment on you, but do you believe by association Tom Brady's a racist?
No.
Okay. No. But you believe Donald Trump has racist qualities?
Yeah, I absolutely believe he is.
Okay, right. So by association, you don't think
No. I'm not going to do that guilt by association. He just believes, that's my friend. Skip, I guess he's one of these guys that I've been friends and I just can't detach myself. I can't let him go this one alone.
All right. Okay. Let's start from the start and walk through this. Okay. You said it was 5 or 6 years. It's actually 14 years. The first time he played golf with Donald Trump, thanks to Robert Kraft, his owner, and his quote-unquote father away from home, was 2002. So think about this. So it was 14 years earlier that he started to have, it was probably once a year, an occasional golf outing with Donald Trump. And as Brady said at that point, ahead of the 2016 election, he's a hell of a lot of fun to play golf with. And I think that's just me. That's basically how Brady sees Donald Trump as. He's just a hell of a lot of fun to play golf with.
Well, everybody that I've heard play golf with him say he's not fun to play with because all he does is cheat.
Okay, but nobody ever said he's not fun to play with because everybody has played with him. Tiger Woods has played with him at least that long, going way back.
Yes.
All the top golfers, Rory, Brooks Koepka, Dustin Johnson, Justin Thomas, they've all played on occasion with Donald Trump.
Yes, Skip, but you have to understand he's a celebrity. At that one time, he was not the president. He was a celebrity.
Okay, I got it. So that's a great point. So who is the owner of the New England Patriots? It's obviously Robert Kraft. What has Robert Kraft said publicly? He's not just good friends with Donald Trump. He thinks they are best friends for life. And what has he always said? When I lost my wife, Myra. Yes, that every day for a year, 365 straight days, Donald Trump called me to see if I was okay. So that's how close that bond is between those two. Bill Belichick is very close friends, by all accounts, with Donald Trump. Obviously, Trump awarded him the Medal of Freedom in his final days in the White House. And obviously, Belichick he had to say no. I think he was backed into a corner because he would have had to go accept it the day after the insurrection. Okay, not a good look.
No.
Okay, so Brady said, Mr. Kraft gave me this hat. Well, I'm just going to sort of jump to the conclusion that Robert Kraft said, hey, do Donald a favor and put the hat in your locker at eye level to help promote him.
Now you're throwing Mr. Kraft under the bus.
Okay, all right. What's that?
I say now he threw Mr. Kraft under the bus.
All right. But remember, at that point, again, I'm not as political as you are, but as Nancy Armour wrote this morning, Trump at that point was seen as kind of a stunt candidate. Nobody took him all that seriously. He was a celebrity candidate. Who seemed to have a little traction, but not nearly enough to win the election. So I didn't know that much about Trump's policies or what he stood for at that point. Maybe you did, but it was hard for any of us to jump to any conclusion about what he was going to become once he won the office.
No, it wasn't. When he strolled down the escalator and he said Mexicans sent us their rapists, their murderers, their drug dealers. They're sending us his words. When he said what he said about the Central Park Five, even after the DNA evidence came back and exonerated him, he still held to it. So I knew what he's going to be about.
Okay, I think a lot of people didn't yet see it coming quite the way you did, okay? I think Brady has scrupulously avoided anything political or religious or social justice in any comment that he ever makes for 20 years, 20 in New England total, because he is, as I've said from the start, he is Jordan-esque. What did Michael Jordan do? He always said, I'm all about winning championships. I don't want it to have anything to do with any of the rest of this.
Right.
Is it brand protection? Sure, probably more on Jordan's part than Brady's. Brady doesn't have nearly as big as brands as Michael did, right? But I got to know Michael pretty well in Chicago, and at one point I asked him just one-on-one about, why don't you ever speak out? And his point to me was, all I care about is playing basketball and winning championships, and I don't follow it closely enough to know enough to know. So I feel like I can't speak out knowledgeably on a lot of these issues because I don't study the issues. I study how to win basketball championships, and I don't really want to be involved. Now, you can say, yeah, baloney, you're just trying to protect, because the line was, and I don't know exactly if he said it this way, but Republicans buy sneakers too.
He said it in jest. I mean, hard
it was on a teen bus one time, but I don't know how seriously he meant it.
I believe he said it in jest, but, you know, people take anything that he says, they take it as the gospel.
So, obviously, Tom Brady is, to me, equally driven to win championships as Michael always was. And Brady believed from the start that anything he would get involved in, away from football, politics, religion, I have no idea what is politics or religion. He's never even spoken any word publicly about either side of that, okay? You know how much my faith means to me, and I'd be very curious to know, well, what's Tom's faith? Does he have any faith? I don't know. I don't know anything about that. So the point was that he avoided questions about that, as he did yesterday from Nancy Armour, as carefully as he avoids pass rushers, because it doesn't get him anywhere in winning championships, because in the end...
You think if he were to answer that, it would hurt him? It would cost him a game?
No, it could cost him some... Like he doesn't want to risk alienating anybody in the locker room with something he might say publicly, because it only distracts from the business of winning football games.
It distracts from the business of him making money. Skip, the thing is that black athletes...
No, winning football games. I disagree. I mean, I get that, but his brands aren't nearly as big as Jordan's.
But Skip, my thing is that black athletes have always had to take a stance because we've always been disadvantaged. We weren't allowed to play football. We weren't allowed to play basketball. We were fighting uphill battles that Tom Brady and his people were never fighting. So it's easy for him not to take a stand one way or another, but we don't have that luxury.
Okay, I got it. But remember, I'm old enough to know a day in this business when a lot of the white media wouldn't even give voice to the black athletes. They tried to ignore this or shut it out. That day is way gone, because if you want to speak, as you do on the show on an almost daily basis, you have voice, you have platform. You have magnitude from that seat that you sit in, as does LeBron. I mean, he's the strongest voice in this area we've ever seen. And yet, for Tom Brady, again, my job is not to judge his politics or his religion unless they negatively impact his ability to lead a football team. Now, I'm going right back to the football context. I wrote this for FoxSports.com yesterday. It's a part of the piece that I wrote about Brady. I don't know anything about his religion or his politics. I just know he avoids talking about both of them. So I don't know. Remember, the Washington Post said right after the MAGA hat incident that Giselle had said, and again, they said that, I don't think they quoted her, but that she was telling people that she and Tom Brady did not support Donald Trump. That was in the Washington Post right after the MAGA hat. So I don't know, because he won't touch it publicly. Okay, so here's my question. When I'm judging Tom Brady as a performer, as a leader, does anything he say that he has ever said or done publicly in the realm of politics or religion affect his ability negatively to lead a football team? Well, obviously not, because I think he's the greatest leader in the history of sports. I'm going to say it one more time, and I wrote this in this piece yesterday. I have talked to dozens of players who played with Tom Brady. We've even had James Harrison, our contributor here on Undisputed, who can be skeptical by nature, and he said he was on high alert when he finished his career at New England through that playoff run, losing to Philly in the Super Bowl.
Right.
And he said, the Brady I saw behind closed doors was exactly the Brady you see on television.
Right.
He is exactly what he appears to be. Well, I told you, I've not heard one negative word about Tom Brady, and I'm not saying it's not out there. I just haven't heard it. Maybe you, as a Hall of Famer with other Hall of Famers, maybe you hear negative words. I haven't heard one thing about him. I don't hear, oh, he's a closet cracker. I don't hear he's a closet racist or a white supremacist. I don't hear any of that. And trust me, people will tell me that they have a tendency to tell me because they know I have a tendency to speak it out.
Let me ask you a question, Skip. Do you think the people in the Bears locker room, from Julius Peppers to Peanut Tillman to Briggs, knew what they know about Brian Urlacher and his staunch support and how he feels about certain issues? You think that he displayed that in the locker room?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
It'll be very interesting.
But he wasn't considered the team leader of that team.
He was the leader of the defense.
Yeah,
he
but
was,
not,
I mean, who's the leader? Jay Cutler?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just hard not. It's usually the quarterback.
But normally on the Bears, it's the defense. It was Butkus. It was Singletary. It's normally the middle.
All right, fair enough.
Who was that? Bill George was the first middle linebacker.
And how many championships did Brian Urlacher win?
Skip. Just because you don't win a championship doesn't mean you're not a leader.
Okay.
We got to stop equating. If you don't win, you're not a leader. And if you're a good leader and you win, that makes you the greatest leader. That does.
But if the players for 20 years, not for 5 years, but for 20 years who have played with and for Tom Brady, if they smelled any hypocrisy, any double standard within him, trust me, it would start to unravel because they would take shots. They would feel...
Skip, I'm not saying the double standard. It's the double standard is with the perception of what is asked of Tom Brady as opposed to to us.
Well,
that's all I'm saying.
Is he just like all the rest of us white people in America? Yeah. I mean, it's the same everywhere.
And that's my, Skip,
yeah, okay,
that's all I'm saying. I don't have like I said, his politics is his politics. There are certain things I disagree with President Obama on. There are certain things I disagree with a lot of people on. But the problem, what I'm willing to do is that if I disagree, I say I disagree with him on this. I still think he's great. I don't obfuscate. I don't just, but you know, I just try to be a good person. I try to be good in my community. That ain't what I do.
I got it.
And all I'm saying is that we look at Tiger Woods. Look at how they did Tiger Woods. Drug him through the mud. The man had an affair. Like, Tiger Woods is the only man that...
he had a whole bunch of affairs, but go ahead. Yeah.
I mean, how many times Donald Trump been married and divorced? How many affairs? Yeah.
Yeah.
And they still love him. The evangelicals love him.
Okay, but remember... well, don't put me in there.
All right. Well, 90% of them, you the 10.
Okay. And I'm not evangelical, but I do believe in God.
Yes.
Okay. With Tiger Woods, the problem was the perception, the hypocrisy of it, because he had presented himself as the model husband and father, and it was a shock to white America. I can only speak from my side of this. I know my mother was the biggest Tiger fan, and it shook her that I thought he was such a great father and husband. Well, he's a great father. I don't think that was ever in question. Not so much a great husband at that point. But if you watch the documentary, what was Earl, his father?
Right. So let me ask you,
the best husband.
Well, yeah, and my grandfather used to say all the time, boy, if you're not careful, you'll become the very thing you despise the most in a person.
Good
and the
point.
thing that he despised the most in his dad, he actually became.
That applied. I agree.
But Skip, the problem that I have with that is, so Tiger Woods was the only guy that portrayed himself as a model husband and dad that had an affair that was a great professional athlete.
No.
Now, which one of them got way across the coast? Like Tiger did.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, that's the same Tiger who said, I resent being called black. Well, guess what?
Skip, that was my point. You remember? He said Nike ran an ad about they played up his blackness. He said, I can't play because the color of my skin, African American.
They did.
And the minute he won the Masters, he went on Oprah and said he cobbling Asian. You see that, how quick that changed? All of a sudden, he didn't need us anymore. But guess what happened? He got jammed up. The very people that he turned his back on ran to his rescue and lifted him up again. Same thing happened with Michael Jackson. Same thing happened with OJ.
Okay.
We'll be here for you when you come back.
Okay, got it. Very good points, especially about OJ. Okay, so here's my 2 cents from a distance about what has happened to Tom Brady and that hat. I believe, this is just my gut feeling on this, about 75% of the sports fandom out there does not like Tom Brady, in part because they're just sick and tired of him winning, but in larger part because he's not fun to watch win because he's spectacularly unspectacular. There's no wow factor.
Right.
There's
no buzz, no pizzazz.
Oh my God.
Right.
There's no, I've never seen that before. Yeah, you've seen it before. It's textbook.
Yeah, what are you going to say? I wonder what Tom's going to say about this.
No, he doesn't say squat about squat because he works as hard as he can to avoid anything that would be seen as controversial because he believes, I believe, that it would somehow detract from winning championships. He's all about championships. He's obsessed with it. So the 75% or so who don't like him were obviously on the edge of their seat waiting for one thing that they could seize upon, and it's, aha! It's a Make America Great hat again. He's a Trumper. We got him. And I believe that some of that 75%, maybe 50% of the 75, will never let the hat go because it's all they got to hang on to. That's what's wrong with him. He's a Trump supporter, okay?
I think the same thing that drives people to dislike Brady is why they tuned in and bought record pay-per-view buys of Floyd Mayweather. You want to see him lose.
Okay.
But whatever the case may be, I'm going to watch. And I believe this will be a record-breaking Super Bowl, not because it's Brady's 10. I want to see him lose. I want to say I saw it.
Don't you want to see him lose to? I think so many people.
I don't want to see him lose. I'm saying I believe that's
Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, I believe that's the large portion.
Because so many people believe just via eye test that Patrick Mahomes is the greatest quarterback ever.
Right.
Not an achievement. I'm just talking about eye test. Just what do you see?
Right.
Well, Shannon Sharpe says, "Oh, that guy."
Right.
He's it.
And I think the thing is that and you say it, I want to see it. I don't want to see Tom Brady lose. I want to see a great game, and I think it's going to be a great game. But it's just, for me, like I said, I don't hold the MAGA hat against Tom Brady. I know where Tom Brady stands. I'm good with it. I've made peace. I don't expect it. Skip, I remember this time when George Floyd was going around, and I said it would be nice if somebody would, one of these big-time guys would speak out. I'm at ease with it. Aaron Rodgers was the closest we got to saying something, and I'm good with that. I know where Brady is, and if he were to say something now, I just believe it's just manufactured. He's not sincere, so I'm good. You got your hat. You support who you support. You go to his golf courses. You do whatever you need to do. Whatever you feel is going to help you be the best Tom Brady, I'm all for that.
Okay. What I do hold against him is, especially 6-8 months ago, I needed him to stand up and speak out just one time in the offseason for Black Lives Matter, just once, because it became the flashpoint of this country.
But then you said, then now to go against everything you just said, it would maybe somebody in that locker room would view him differently.
It just seemed like there was one point, one time, and he said a few things that he kind of tiptoed around the edges of it that would be seen as okay things to say.
He dipped his toe in, but that's a little bit too cold. That might be too deep. Nah, I'm good.
I agree with that. And I agree with your big picture premise about white privilege. I just, in the end, I'm not going to condemn him for the MAGA hat because I don't think it undercuts his ability to lead his football team.
No. Skip, just because there are a lot of good people 75 million people voted for President Trump. Everybody that voted for him isn't bad. They're not. Tom Brady is probably, I don't know him, but I don't think Tom Brady's bad. We just disagree. There are some issues, Skip. There are issues that I just think that when you see wrong, you just say that's wrong. Okay. That's all we ask Tom. We don't ask him to get out there and march with us.
Okay.
Or donate with us or do whatever he wants to do. But if you see wrong, say it's wrong. That's the thing. That's the problem that I have with him.
Okay, but does Robert Kraft and also Bill Belichick, do they deserve a pass on this front either?
No.
Right?
No.
Right? They don't get held feet to fire the way Brady does.
Well, I think the thing is, had Mr. Kraft and Coach Belichick been wearing the hat, it might be a different story. They're kind of like behind the scenes, where a lot of prominent black athletes have to be behind the scenes with Mr. Farrakhan. That's what you have to do, because you remember they was trying to cancel folks this summer. You remember Deshaun Jackson, Skip? Howie Roseman and the owner called him in because he said something about what Mr. Farrakhan had said. You remember that? Now, Tom Brady, that ain't gonna ever happen to a white athlete.
Okay, I got it. But Mr. Farrakhan's views are obviously anti-Semitic.
What about President Trump? So anti-Semitic.
Okay, no, I got it. I'm just putting them in the same ballpark.
But my thing is, with President Trump, anti-black. anti-Semitic. So we gonna weigh more. One weighs more than the other.
We can't. And obviously, Minister Farrakhan's anti-white.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can say they're the same.
People automatically assume he's anti-this when he's pro-black. No, I don't got to be against this if I'm for that. I'm for my people being educated. I'm for my people being prosperous. I'm for my people having rights and protection. That don't mean I'm against you having that. That means I just want that for my people, like you get.
No mercy. Kawhi Leonard's 33 points weren't enough to outduel Kyrie Irving's 39 and the Nets last night. James Harden had a 23-point, 11-rebound, 14 assist triple-double, and Kevin Durant chipped in with another 28 points. And after the 4-point win, Kyrie said, quote, "It was great competition for the top players in the world, some of the top players in the world to go against each other on TV." So, Shannon, are you any more impressed with the Nets than you were before?
Skip, offense, we know what they are offensively, Skip. They have 3 of the most skilled players at their position that's ever been in the league. Kyrie Irving can pat the ball. He takes a backseat to no one handling the ball. And he can finish with either hand, the kiss. The shots that he's making at the rim, Skip, he's fearless. He can do things with the basketball that very few people have ever been able to do. I mean, you got to go to an and-one tour, maybe the Globetrotters, and he's doing this.
I was going to say Globetrotters.
Into an actual NBA game, Skip. He was dynamic. And we know Kyrie can be that because we've seen it on the biggest of stages. KD, what I say, do 11 or 13. How you get 28 points on 13 shots?
11 of 13?
11 of 13. And then James Harden, here he is out there doing, get another 14 assists, another triple-double. He's going to probably have 11 or 12 assists playing alongside Kyrie. Skip, normally, if you shoot 57% from the floor, which is about 11 points higher than your opponent, you normally wipe the floor with them. But that just goes to show you, Skip, when they're on, they're going to be awful tough to beat. But they got to be on every night because their defense is still going to be a work in progress. And that just goes to show you. Because the Clippers were getting good shots. They were just missing. They got good shots. They got great looks at the basket. But once Kyrie got it going, now you got to devote your attention to him. Okay, he kicks the ball to KD. KD one step, 15 feet, swish. Now you got to deal with James Harden. They pass it to James Harden. He dribble, step back, three-pointer in your eyes. What you gonna do with that, Skip? The only thing you can hope for is that they have an off night. Because if they have an off night, you can get them, Skip, because the defense is not going to be able to pull them through. And that's the thing that you have to worry about, Skip. What happens on a night that I'm having an off night shooting the basketball? Can I lock you down to make sure you don't get the ball to go in the hoop? And that's what the Lakers are able to do at some point in time. They making shots fine and good. But when their shots, we saw that against Boston. We saw that against Atlanta. Now, that's not the caliber team. Boston's a very good team. But they're not the caliber team of the Clippers or the Nets. But I think defense is going to be an issue because, Skip, the Clippers don't play defense like we thought they were going to play. Now, I understand that Pat Beverly's not there, but, Skip, you can't let Kyrie and KD and James Harden dance on you like that when you got Paul George and Kawhi. But I keep telling you, Kawhi hasn't played defense like what you think he plays defense since he left San Antonio. But this was a great game. It was a back-and-forth game. It was what I thought it was going to be. And I said that what Brooklyn's hoping to do, Skip, they're going to win games. The games are always going to be in the 120s, somewhere between 120 and 130, and they're going to have to outscore you because their defense leaves a lot to be desired. But this was, Brooklyn got firepower like I've never seen before. I've never seen 3 players on one team that can do it. All these guys can go get you 60. There's been very few teams, Skip, that have 3 guys. You got to go back to the old Lakers when they had Wilt and Jerry West and Elgin Baylor. But 3 guys like this that can handle the ball, can get to the rim, can shoot the 3, and solid free, shoot 85, 90%. Kyrie shooting 94%. KD's 87. James Harden's 85. So you foul them late in the ball game, what you going to do? They're going to swish, 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 swish.
Never in the history of this league have we seen 3 better shot makers, 3 better scorers than these 3 together on one team. Never.
No.
Just to drive that point home, look at what happened in the fourth quarter last night. 29 of the 36 points were scored by those 3.
Yes.
Guess what they combined statistically to do? 9 of 12, that'll work. 4 of 5 from 3, and 7 of 7 from the free throw line, as you point out, because they'll just free throw you to death down the stretch. If you have to foul them, you're done.
Right.
I've never seen anything quite like that before. So now we go to the biggest picture. Can they defend? They're never going to be a great defensive team, but they can be a good enough defensive team when they want to be.
Right.
It's not that often. So James has been there for 9 games. We've seen them play up to the level of competition twice because they played Milwaukee and they beat Milwaukee 125 to 123. So they held Milwaukee to 123. And then last night they held the Clippers to 120. So at least it wasn't 148 or 150.
Yeah,
right?
like they gave up to Washington.
Okay. But if you can hold the top tier teams to 120-ish, then you're going to have a chance because you're going to flat out score the basketball like no one's ever scored it. Unless, to your point, you have a 3-way off night, and that's what it's going to take.
Right.
Okay. So what I saw last night was my guy, Kawhi Leonard, in the fourth quarter had a hard time getting clean looks because they got physical with him and they rotated. It would be Kyrie for a possession, then it'd be James, then it would be Kevin at the end.
But if you see how Kevin was guarding him, Skip, he got his hand up and Kawhi can't even see the basket.
Okay.
I'm like, dude.
So let's look quickly at Kawhi's 3 misses in the fourth quarter. When he was trying to take the game over, what happened? This happened. Here's Kawhi on James. Look at James, how physical he is. James stopped him cold 2 or 3 times. So here he is. He goes around. That was KD flying at him, and he missed the 3. And then we're going to have the look at the end that you're going to talk about. That was kaboom.
You came back off of Kyrie. He had to go in.
And here's the one where he says, okay, I got this. I got this. I got this. No, you don't got this. And he shot an air ball. Okay, you don't see Kawhi shoot many air balls.
Right.
He's too efficient of a scorer. And he got his 33. He just got them the hard way.
Right.
And I thought those 3, when they would rotate on him, they did a pretty good job on Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah.
So I still say this team can play good enough defense to be a contending team, if not to win the East.
Yeah, because all 3 of them, Skip, they guarded him different. James, like, okay, you want to bang? Okay, I'll bang with you.
Yep.
KD says, I'm going to play off you, knowing that I'm not going to let you get around me, and I'm going to be able to contest anything you do at the rim because I'm 7 foot tall with a 7'6" wingspan.
Yep.
And Kyrie's just bothering him all, just slapping at the ball, just trying to just annoy him.
He annoyed him. Okay, so I've told you before about James Harden. Last year, if you just look at the stats, he was a high-level defender as far as stealing the basketball, deflecting the basketball, or jumping on loose balls. He was top tier in all those categories. So he can defend in different ways. And plus, James is, I know we were talking about fat James, but listen, that guy I saw last night against Kawhi,
he might need some of that.
But he has girth to him more than you think, and he's got natural strength. I don't even know if he lifts weights or not. I assume he does a little bit, not like LeBron does, but he can bang with you. He's got some physicality to him because he will drive the ball and take shots, and they just seem to bounce off him.
He has to, Skip, as much as he has to have some way, because as much as he hit the floor, he's hitting the floor every time he lays the ball up. And Skip, the thing that I like about him last night, he had 14 assists and only 3 turnovers. You can live with that, Skip.
And he is running away with the NBA assist league.
He's going to run away with it. It's over.
He's at 11.4, and Russ is like 9.5.
Yeah, you're not catching. Because, he's passing to KD and Kyrie.
And by the way, I'm going to credit our man Chris Broussard on this because he called it before I even thought about it. It's flipped from what I thought it would be because James is the point guard. Kyrie plays more 2.
Kyrie's always been a 2, masquerading as a point.
That is correct. Okay, so remember, the Clippers were up 5 with 7 minutes left and looked like maybe a little better team overall than the Nets. And all of a sudden, those 3 said no. And
it was like Kyrie. Kyrie got it going. And they said, okay, Kyrie.
Watch this flurry. They go on I think it was a 13-1. 13-0. 13-0. It's 13-0. Here we go. Here's the flurry.
I mean, what you gonna do? He gonna swoop, get to the baseline.
Okay, that's on Batum.
It's over.
That's on Batum.
You let him get there, it's over.
He's the weak link is Nicholas Batum. And here's Batum again, was trying to guard Kyrie. That's no good. Then here we go again, and here's Kyrie. How do you stop that? What are you going to do with that?
Nothing. Don't back up. You better stop at the three-point line.
Nicholas, no.
You worried about him going by you and laying the ball up.
No chance. And then
look at this.
This ends the run right here. And guess who it is? Nicholas Batum again.
Find Nicholas Batum, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, 5 times they found Nicholas Batum in the fourth quarter, and he got ripped 5 straight times. He is the weak defensive link, but they love him because he's brought the glue to the offensive end because he can handle.
And he can make threes.
Smart, and he can make threes. And he scored 21, so he had a good night last night on the offensive end, and he's helped stabilize an offense that sputtered and finally just choked against
Skip, let me ask you something.
Nuggets.
Are you concerned that the starters for the Nets are having to play so many minutes? James Harden played 43 minutes last night. KD's at 38. Kyrie's at 30. I mean, James Harden's number 1 in minutes. Kyrie's like number
I know, but
8.
we both laughed about how James looked overweight when he first came back with Houston. It was almost like that was his defiance.
Right.
Like, I'm fat.
Right.
You're going to have to trade me because I'll get fatter if you don't.
I guess they say he played his way back into shape.
But he was eating his way out of Houston, right? Well, it doesn't seem to matter because you want to talk about a baller? He just wants to play. He was the only one who played all 10 minutes in the fourth. I mean, all 12 minutes in the fourth quarter, right?
So because I'm looking at it, know. I mean, the bench, and they don't have any depth, Skip. They only got 14 points from the bench, and they don't have a whole lot of depth coming off that bench. And Skip, that's a lot of minutes.
I like TLC. I told you I like Bruce Brown as a defender. I still like what DeAndre can give you in spurts, but they don't play him that much.
Well, they went small last night. DeAndre was starting, and then all of a sudden they started Jeff Green on Ibaka.
Yeah, and I've always liked Landry Shamet when he was a Clipper. So I think they're okay. You know, watch what they've got 3 open slots on their roster too now. I guess that Norvell Pell, they say, is a 7-foot defender. I don't know anything about him, but he hasn't actually played yet.
Right.
But here's my one concern about my Clippers as it relates to the team upstairs in Staples, the Lakers. I have told you from the start that I thought the closer for the Clippers was Lemon Pepper Lou, as you dubbed him, right? Sweet Lou Williams. I don't know what's happening, but it looks like he's hitting the wall to me. He's not what he used to be.
No.
And last night, he didn't even finish the game. He played 7 minutes, but he only scored 2 points in the fourth quarter. He only scored 4 points in 20 minutes in the game. That scares me for the Clippers because I thought he was the X factor who could get you home. And when we're talking about the big 3 of the Nets, it's really against the big 2 of the Clippers because there was a time I would have put Lou Williams in as part of the big 3 of the Clippers.
Right.
I'm not seeing it yet. I don't know if he's not in shape yet. I don't know what's happened, but he doesn't look the same to me.
Yeah, he doesn't, Skip, and I don't know what it is. And he hadn't looked the same since the bubble last year, and coming out of the bubble, he have a game here or there, but he hasn't been the consistent player that we've seen over the years.
Do you remember that guy who used to be in the fourth quarter? He would just go off.
What is he, a 3-4 time sixth man of the year? Could be a starter, can go get you 50. You remember that? What he got 50? He dropped 50 on remember that playoff series against Golden State, Skip? They were down 31, and he just got hot and like, nah, we're not losing tonight.
And he can get you 20 in the fourth quarter, but not now.
Well, Skip, the Nets gave up 30 points and overcome, but they shot 65%. Well, you give up 30 points in the fourth, but you shoot 65, that means you're going to probably get somewhere between 36 and 40.
Yep. So, in the end, Paul George, a loser last night, complained about it's disrespectful that I only got to the free throw line 1 time. I'll buy that, but I don't need him to talk about it because after you lose a game, I don't know. Obviously, the Nets shot more free throws because I thought they were more aggressive going to the basket. Okay,
Skip, Kyrie and James Harden live at the rim.
They just live at the rim.
I mean, Kawhi shot you. I mean, you liking Kawhi shooting all these threes? You say LeBron. I mean, he can't shoot the 3 like LeBron now. I mean, he up there trying to shoot 3 like LeBron.
He's better than
No,
LeBron.
I can't tell. That's not what his field goal. That's not what his 3-point percentage says.
That's what his career stats say.
No, I'm talking about this year.
Okay.
What they got to do with this year?
Well, we're still very early in this year.
Oh, we early now, huh?
Yeah, but wait a second. Who makes the free throws better?
Did he miss one last night in the fourth quarter?
Did he
miss one? Okay.
You know, he is human. Maybe he's a cyborg.
Did my guy miss anything in the fourth quarter?
When?
Any free throws? Atlanta.
Do you want me to go back for the year? Fourth quarter free throw misses?
All I'm saying is, Skip, my guy closed.
Your guy shoots 71%. This guy's shooting 91% from the free throw line.
What he doing? What your guy doing in the fourth quarter, Skip?
Well, I told you they were all over him. They switched on him.
What they got to do with it? He the guy. So they ain't all over LeBron, huh? They're not all over LeBron, huh?
LeBron's bigger than Kawhi. He's 6'9", 285, I believe he is now.
You know what, Skip?
Okay.
He did have 8 points,
very early in the NBA season, which
Mm-hmm.
means we're going to have plenty more weeks and games to discuss. But with the NFL, it's wrapping up, guys. The Super Bowl right around the corner, and the Chiefs have held steady as 3.5-point favorites over the Buccaneers all week. And now, according to Fox Bet Sportsbook, 80% of the money is on Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs to cover that spread. So, Shannon, what does this tell you?
Skip, the Chiefs were basically the favorite coming into the season, and it tells me that people believe, the bettors believe that the Chiefs are going to win the game.
Yep.
Now, unless some whales come in and they start laying down $500 to a couple of $1 million on the Bucs, I don't see the line. That's what sways the line. These little $20, $30 bets don't move no line. When you get these whales dropping $500,000, $1 million, $2 million on the Bucs, that's what's going to move the line.
I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't think that's going to happen either, Skip. So that's all I can tell you what's going to happen. And Mahomes has won 25 of his last 26 games in which he started. They've been on an unbelievable roll, and they've been the favorite since they won the Super Bowl last year. So, and looking at the way Mahomes is playing, and people looking at what Tom did struggle in the second half, really bad against Green Bay.
Yep.
So, look, there are a lot of things to like about Tampa. There's even more things to like about the Bucs, and I just believe the bettors believe that Mahomes and the Chiefs have a better chance of winning, and they, 3.5 points. And it's probably going to be that, Skip. Tom Brady normally plays close Super Bowls. He's been in, this is 10th. All of them has been within one score except the one that he won against the Rams. They won by 10, 13-3. But
it wasn't like, it was close.
It was close until like the last 2 minutes.
3-3 mid-fourth quarter.
Right.
Yeah.
So all the games are normally close. They believe this game will be close. But it tells me that the bettors believe that the Chiefs are the better team and they'll win this game.
Okay. Completely concur. And then some. I always tell you, I try to guess the line before I see the line, just to see if I feel like they're way off base on this. I thought this would be a 7-point game. Chiefs would be favored by 7. And when it opened at 3.5-ish, right in there, I was like, wow.
No.
That's some respect for Brady at this stage.
I thought it would be 2. Considering that it is, even though, Skip, it's supposed to be a neutral site, it is the Bucs' home game. So it
factor a little bit, except the debacles that the Bucs have suffered this year have come at home. I can't get out of my psyche the fact that I saw them get blown off their home field by New Orleans that Sunday night. I saw the Rams run them off their home field. That was Jared Goff at the controls, just threw them right off the field with 350 yards passing, right? I saw Tyreek Hill have 203 receiving yards on that same field in the first quarter. Well, so does that not negate home field advantage?
And plus the better saw that too, Skip. The better saw what you saw.
Okay, so to me, it's no shock that most bettors sit back and they say, oh, wait a second. Kansas City is clearly the better team, especially on offense. This is a juggernaut. This is a rising dynasty. If they win this one, the dynasty talk will ensue.
Oh, yes.
Right?
Yes.
It will be officially in season to start talking about how many of can they win 3 in a row, which would be historical.
It'd be unprecedented. I mean, well, and Skip, if you think they talk about my homeboy now, he messed around and went 3 in a row, it's over. I don't even.
Well,
it'd definitely be over.
But to me, a lot of people think it's already over. I think you think in your heart of hearts that it's just over. Like, you respect Brady's achievements over 20 years, but your eyes tell you it's over because there's never been anything like 15.
Do I believe Mahomes is a better quarterback than Brady? Yes. When it's all said and done, will he have the achievements that Brady have?
Well, boy, you want to talk about setting the bar.
Exactly. That's the thing, Skip. And so that's what you're going to have to. It might be 2 separate arguments. It might be he has 70,000 yards, and maybe he has 4 Super Bowls or 5 Super Bowls, not 6 or 7 or even 8 if Brady continues to play, say he wants to play maybe till he past 45. Maybe he doesn't have the 40-plus playoff game.
Okay, so there's another way to define GOAT, and that is he playing at a level right here, right now, Patrick Mahomes, that no one's ever played at? Well, you can make that case.
You can,
Okay? Now, that's not the GOAT definition to me. The GOAT is achievement definition.
Yes.
And when you've won 6 rings with 6 game-winning drives in the fourth quarter and overtime, that's game over. That's GOAT.
Skip, there haven't been very many quarterbacks, because we're talking about quarterbacks, that have had a 3-year run any better than what Mahomes has had.
Yeah.
I mean, Brady's had some great runs. You look at Rodgers had a couple of runs. Manning has had some runs. But it's hard to say there's a quarterback that had a better run, especially at this age. We just don't see this. At 25, your second Super Bowl, 3. I mean, he's going to throw for 5,000 yards this year had Andy not set him in the final game. So, yeah, it's going to be he's going to have a compelling case, like you said. I don't know about the achievement, Skip. Those 40-plus playoff games, Skip, that's 2 seasons. Almost 3 seasons worth of playoff games.
33-11?
Yeah, that's 44. They only play 48 games, 16-game regular season. So you're 4 games away from playing 3 seasons of football.
It's impossibly great. And a lot of people they can't even wrap their head around the magnitude of the achievement. In part, I'm going back to this, a lot of people they're sick and tired of it. So a lot of these bettors are going to bet a little more with heart than head, except for the whales.
People that do this for a living.
Or let's talk about the wise guys.
Yeah.
You know, the
people
sharks.
that do it for a living.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, the people who do it for a living bet with their head, but a lot of people just bet with their heart.
Yeah.
And they want to see 12 go down on his home field.
Right.
Because they can't believe he got there in the first place. And to your point, he did throw 3 picks in the second half at Green Bay. One I didn't think was his fault, the one off Mike Evans' hands that Jair Alexander just caught on his knees at the 5. Thank you, God. But the point is, he struggled in that stretch right there. And so they're saying, well, maybe that's the guy. Maybe that's age 43. Maybe he's starting to hit the wall. I don't think he's hitting the wall at all. But I get why this is. I think this will be the trend from here. We're on Wednesday. I think this will continue to escalate.
And I think the last game they saw, Skip, they believe Mahomes looked better against Buffalo than Tom looked against Green Bay.
Yep.
Because, I mean, once they got rolling, Skip, they were down 9-0, and then they go 38 straight.
Okay, he did it on the backside, but I told you, to me, Brady played his greatest first half of his playoff career.
Right.
Because he felt like I have to set the tone and keep the guy across from the field from front running at home.
The thing is about Mahomes is that when they get momentum, they can do things that very few teams have been able to do. Skip, they can create so much separation. They can go from being down 3, 7, 10 points to all of a sudden they're up 28, 31 points. We saw what they did to Houston. They're down 24, and in the blink of an eye, they're up 51-24. They're like, how the hell did that happen?
Okay, that's the phenomenon operating here.
Yes.
And I believe this number will go up. I will bet you this spread will end at 4.5.
You think so?
In favor of Kansas City. I think that it will continue to be a landslide of bets on the Chiefs.
But I tell you what, I do believe happened. I believe these quarterbacks going to throw for at least 750 to 800 yards.
Boy, that's a lot of yards.
I'm telling you, Skip.
I mean, the only reason I put an asterisk there is it possible, even no risk it, no biscuit, Bruce Arians sits back and says, you know what? We just got to run it. We just got to run it and try to keep the ball away from him. Because Fournette's been hot.
Yeah.
So if you bang away and try to win time of possession, you remember what happened at Tampa when Kansas City went there November 29th? They had the ball 37 minutes to 23 for him. Well, what do you think is going to happen?
Well, Skip, I think the thing is that you might anticipate running the football, but what happened, they went 3 and out 3 times. The next thing you know, it's 17-0, and we had to abandon.
Then you got
now we got 5 carries, which is an NFL low for a game. So that's what happened. I mean, I'm sure you go into it with a game, well, we're going to do this and this, and next thing you know, they jump out on you 17-0, and we got to abandon and try to scrap this thing together.
Well, this is the one thing I know about Tom Brady. If you told him you can throw for 150 yards and he's going to throw for 400, but you're going to win the game.
Oh, you're taking a win.
He'd say, thank you very much.
You're taking a win. Oh, absolutely.
I got it. And I'll never look back.
Yeah.
And I'll have no regrets.
Yeah.
Right?
But I don't know, Skip, if he can throw for that few yards. That first Super Bowl, Tom Brady, that's over. He knows he's going to have, because the likelihood of you being able to run the football and keep it away from him long enough, even if you run it, Skip, the thing that you know about what we've seen from Mahomes, even if you control the ball, you still got to hope he's off. If he's on his game, even if you're controlling the ball, he's going to go up and down the field on you.
Okay, who's going to have the 2 best receivers on the field? He is.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Who's got the best offensive mind calling the plays or at least designing the plays? Well, it's Andy Reid, right?
But you guys got the best offensive line protecting your guy.
Okay, yeah, I can make that case. But who has a defensive coordinator who once upon a time in the first Eli Super Bowl shut down Tom Brady, embarrassed him?
Spags did.
Spags did, right?
So, well,
Does he not know how to do it?
Yes, but I don't know if he has the firepower. We're going to talk about this a little later, but he might have to get a little bit unorthodox.
Dial it up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Tom is expecting that. I believe they're expecting heavy pressure.
No mercy.
According to a report out of Las Vegas, the Raiders are taking calls on quarterback Derek Carr. It's suggested in the report that it could potentially be the beginning of a 3-team trade to get Deshaun Watson in a Raiders uniform. So, Shannon, should Vegas try and trade for Deshaun?
Yeah, I think absolutely. If you don't have a top 5, top 7 quarterback, I think you should be in the running for Deshaun Watson. Skip, there's something that's been on my mind and been bothering me. Last week, I called you the night before and told you that I had some information about Deshaun. And we came on the show. And at about 6:30, top of the show, I said, Deshaun Watson, my sources tell me Deshaun Watson has asked the Texans for a trade. And this is just being broached, but this was they asked a couple of weeks ago. Now, Adam Schefter reported 20 minutes after me that Deshaun Watson had asked for a trade, basically saying that he's breaking the news, which I already
I see. Yeah.
And I said, what transpired, that he wants to go to the Jets. He have a fondness for Robert Saleh. Everybody keeps saying, now it's the Jets and this and that. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to add egg, pulled pork to a hamburger that I've already made. It's still a hamburger. You're just adding condiments, trying to add to the story. Back to this. Absolutely, Skip. Now, I don't...
This report came from Chris Sims.
Yes.
Okay.
What transpired, Skip, and you said this yesterday, Sirianni, when he was talking during the press conference, the player. He said the player.
The New England, not Sirianni. I'll think of his name in a second.
But anyway, the new general manager, Caserio, yes, said the player.
Yes.
He must have realized how it sounded in his head, because then he started saying Deshaun. It was too late.
Yeah.
You see him snatch down everything off his thing, and I referred everything to my agent, David Muguleta.
Yeah.
But anyway, Skip, yes, they should. Skip, I just always got the impression that John Gruden wasn't as fond of Derek Carr. I don't know what it is, and I could be totally wrong, but it's just something about, yeah, he's good, but I don't really know if he can take me to where I need to go. I am making $10 million a year. I do have a $100 million contract, and we haven't been to the playoff. So this can be viewed as a failure, Skip. For $30 million, and I ain't got nothing to show for it. And a lot of it has to do with his defense. They finished last, 24th, and 30th last 3 years. Hired Gus Bradley in the offseason. So for me, Skip, you look at it, Darren Waller is a top 3 tight end. They got Josh Jacobs, who made the Pro Bowl again, if I'm not mistaken. Henry Ruggs can fly. They got nice receiving core. Offensive line is solid. Yeah, Deshaun Watson will be a major player for them. And in this offense, it's the West Coast system. Skip, they'd be foolish not to try.
Okay. To the second point you just made, I agree with your first point, but second point, as we watched Hard Knocks a couple of years ago, as Gruden hit Oakland, they were on their way to Las Vegas, but I told you the same thing. I know John Gruden well enough to know, not buying Derek Carr. I don't know why, but John is always tough on his quarterback. He's over tough. I don't know why, but it's very difficult to play quarterback for John Gruden.
Right.
See his history. He got Rich Gannon at age 36, and Rich, because I was there at the time, Rich would stand up to him and use the same language back to him.
You got to. A young guy. It's tough for a young guy.
It's tough for a young guy. And then he had Brad Johnson, who was 34, going on like 44, because it seemed like he'd been around forever. But he won a Super Bowl with Brad Johnson. Obviously not a great quarterback, more in the mold of a Trent Dilfer that you had. But Brad Johnson would say, no, John, I'm not going to take that from you, because I know how to play this position pretty well. I've been doing it for a long time in Minnesota and other places.
In Washington.
Yeah. So it takes that kind of guy to stand up to John Gruden. So when I heard this idea, the first thing I thought was, poor Derek Carr. You know, he's pretty good. He actually had a career year last year.
Well, yeah, he did.
For 4,100 yards. He was 27 touchdowns and 9 interceptions, completed 67%, had his best QBR by far of 71, which is pretty good, and Pro Football Focus ranked it the 9th best quarterback. So he was ranked top 10 in overall grade. Okay, that's pretty good, but they won 8-8.
Right.
And I can't defend Derek on one count. That's only the second year he's had a non-losing record because they did, under Jack Del Rio, your man, they went 12-4 that year, but he was hurt going to the playoff game at Houston. Remember that? Yeah. And you know what happened. It was Connor Cook against Brock Osweiler, and they lost. Right. Okay? So Derek doesn't have much to show for his performance even last year. 8-8, not going to get it. So you know how Gruden and Mayock are. They're shoot the moon. They're going to plunge just like the Rams plunge.
They shove it all in, too.
Right? Okay, because they shoved it all in. They said, let's take a flyer on AB. Let's just see what happens. High risk, high reward, and it didn't work. So, to me, I will not at all be surprised if they go after Deshaun. This is just me. Maybe you could relay this to the camp. If I'm Deshaun,
you don't want to go there?
I'm not sure I would love this. I don't know what it is about John. He played a little bit of, wasn't it D2 quarterback or, you know, at where was it, at Akron or not at Akron. I'll think of it in a second. But he was, you know, he was just kind of a, you know, middle of the road, smaller college quarterback who got it in his head that he knows how to play the position better than anybody, this side of Tom Brady, right? And what was he known for at ESPN? The Gruden quarterback camp. So he'd bring him in, and he'd put those poor kids through the ringer, man. He would light fires under them, right?
That was the thing, though, Skip, and you're absolutely right, is that
he played at Dayton. I'm sorry.
He thinks that you know, you got to do this. I get it. Look, Skip, he was a coach, and he's coached some you know, he was on that staff with Mike Holmgren that had Favre, and he went to Philly with Andy, and then he became the Raiders head coach. And he is tough. He is, I mean, he's not everybody's cup of tea. And
remember after Brad Johnson at Tampa, they went through, speaking of Chris Sims, he was one of them. Yeah. He was just like, I'll change him by the week. You know, he couldn't find a quarterback, right?
So, I don't know. But I think, Skip, you got to kick the tires. I don't know. I mean, you know, you're hearing stories they want 2 1s, 2 2s, and 2 your best defensive players. I mean, if I'm the 49ers, I'll give you 9. I'll give you next year's pick, Nick Bosa. But I'm not giving you Nick Bosa and Armstead and 2 number 1s and 2 number 2s because you didn't get the starting defensive player from the Rams. So if you want 2 1s, I'll give you 2 1s and Nick Bosa, Armstead, one of those guys. Give me Deshaun.
Okay. To me, in the end, it's so rare that a quarterback of this caliber.
Not at this age,
They don't come available.
Not at this age.
Hey, because it's not like you're picking him first overall where you think he's Trevor Lawrence. You know, you think Trevor Lawrence is good, but you don't know for sure. I know. I've seen it.
Skip, normally when quarterbacks become available, you get them like Brady in year 21. You get them like Peyton Manning off a serious injury where there's only 10-15% chance he plays. Or Drew Brees, there's a 5%. But you don't get 20.
Or Matthew Stafford, where he has just completely worn out his welcome in Detroit, where they've tried and tried for years, and they finally say, let's just change scenery here.
But he's 33. You don't normally get 25 and 26-year-old quarterbacks healthy.
Deshaun is entering his prime. He's just entering. This is Super Bowls to be won right here.
He might not even be in his prime. He might be at the door of his prime, Skip.
I agree. No, I agree. So,
but the Raiders, Skip, and plus the Raiders, okay, the jury is still out on Cleveland Farrell. They took him 3 overall. Okay, Josh Jacobs looked like a player.
I agree.
Henry Ruggs, we got to see. I mean, they got him to be Tyreek. That's what they got him to be, Skip. He's supposed to be that guy. I don't know if he can do anything other than run post-to-go route because you see what they do. Tyreek has turned himself into a receiver where he can catch the slant, he can catch the end cut, he can break out. He just doesn't run deep routes anymore.
Okay, well, he ran one. It was your basic Hail Mary that beat the Jets. But remember, it took that for the Raiders to beat the Jets. Okay? So I would advise Deshaun to steer clear of this.
Well, he does have the leverage that he has, Skip, is that he does have a no trade. So you can say we want to trade you here, like, no, I don't want to go there.
Yep. It's like Matt Stafford said, I'll go anywhere but Belichick.
And look, y'all already done screwed me over. Do me this solid.
Yep.
Do me this solid here, Texas.
There are a lot of great landing spots for him other than this. And again, I'm a big Gruden fan. I told you from the start. I believe he can win a Super Bowl there, but he's going to have a quarterback. He needs a veteran quarterback,
yeah,
who can put him back in his place and say, no, let's do it this way.
I would like to see Deshaun go to Denver because they got some weapons.
Yep.
But if he can't go to Denver, put him with Kyle Shanahan.
Okay.
With Kyle Shanahan, Skip, it's over.
It would be over. They would win multiple Super Bowls.
No mercy.
Hey, Undisputed listeners, I wanted to tell you about our brand new Fox Sports app and website, foxsports.com. Reimagined for the modern sports fan. Go ahead, download the new app right now. You don't even have to pause this episode. Every day on the new app and website, you'll see the top stories in sports, plus a rich world of written content, videos, social media, and analytics to give you a 360-degree view of the most important stories of the day. Streaming live TV has never been so easy or elegant. Every Fox Sports game, including all pregame and postgame shows, are just one click away. For the extra invested fan, we also go deep with real-time wagering lines, trending prop bets, win probability, and key player projections. Download the new Fox Sports app or visit www.foxsports.com.
No mercy.
Hey, Undisputed listeners, it's Charlotte Wilder here to tell you about my new podcast with Mark Titus called the People Sports Podcast. It comes out every Thursday, and Mark and I take one of the big stories of the week, and then we go off on tangents you never saw coming. This might mean that we start talking about the Dodgers winning the World Series and end up wondering if Knicks fans deserve happiness. Or begin with LeBron's greatness and end up drafting our ultimate beer league softball team made up of old athletes. Whatever it is, the only rule of the show is that it has to be fun and funny, because these days we could all use as many laughs as we can get. So check it out wherever you get your podcasts and come down weird sports rabbit holes with us. We can't wait to have you.
No mercy.
Patrick Mahomes has plenty of guys to spread the ball to in Kansas City. Both Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce are three-time All-Pro selections, and each have made it to at least 5 Pro Bowls as well. Both of Mahomes' best weapons also made the NFL's 2010 All-Decade roster. So, Shannon, who's more valuable to the Chiefs, Tyreek or Kelce?
Skip, it's just, I don't know how you separate them and say one is more valuable than the other, because I don't know if they would work equally as well if the other wasn't in the offense. Let me tell you why. What Tyreek does is that he lifts the coverage so much that he draws the safety out, and so now Kelce gets to work one-on-one, either with a small corner or a linebacker. Okay, you're going to try to, what we're going to do? We're going to double Kelce. Now you're going to leave Tyreek one-on-one. See, even though...
You can try to double both of them.
You try.
And that's when Mecole...
That's when Mecole hard, but, they always have someone going deep.
Yep.
Even though Tyreek's long touchdown runs are demoralizing, it's the third down, Skip. We about to get off the field. It's 3rd and 6. We like, come on, baby, you got to stop. We done stopped them twice.
Or mid-4th quarter of the Super Bowl, 3rd and 15 from your 35.
We're about to get off the field, and then here comes Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce led everybody in 3rd down catches for first down. He had 79, 92 if you include the playoffs. Skip, that's demoralizing, because now that keeps you on the field, and that gives me another 3-4 more cracks at you to get the ball into the end zone. See, I don't know if Kelce would be as effective if he didn't have Tyreek, and Tyreek wouldn't be as effective if he had somebody just controlling the middle, because you see how he gets over the top of guys? Because Winfield Jr. is looking at Kelce.
Yep.
Well, that's just enough. He can't get back there, and then Cheetah pieced him out. Skip, it's peanut butter and jelly. What do I mean, you can have a jelly. I've had jelly sandwiches. I've had peanut butter sandwiches. But they're not nearly as good apart as they are together. And that's what I'm going to say about these two guys. I don't believe they would be nearly as good apart as they are together. There's a reason why they've both been to 5 Pro Bowls. There's a reason why they're both on the All-Decade team. They're a 3-time first-team All-Pro, because they work so well together. And they got that guy throwing them the football. Because, Skip, remember I said they had Alex Smith, but they weren't this with Alex, because Alex wasn't going to use Tyreek to his best ability, which is pushing the ball down the field.
Okay, I hear you in tandem, in concert, peanut butter, jelly. By the way, if you just try a peanut butter sandwich, you better have some milk or something to get it down, because it's going to be hard to swallow that.
No, right? You don't get that crunchy, Skip. I don't like the crunchy. Yeah. Some people like the crunchy. I can't do the crunchy.
No. Okay. I am not a peanut butter guy.
Oh, man.
But I am a Kelce guy. I got to tell you, you played this position. You're in the Hall of Fame. as much as I have loved Rob Gronkowski, these many years, I've never seen anything like this guy.
He's special.
He is very special because he is so athletic. He runs routes like a wideout does, yet he's a big
he's like 6'5", 260.
Yeah, 260. So he ran at the Combine 4.6. We had George Kittle on yesterday, and I was talking to him about compare and contrast, which he wouldn't bite on, but Kittle ran 4.5 at the Combine. So I thought he's a tick faster.
Yeah.
Whew. Kelce plays so fast because he has stop-start quickness in his game.
Right.
He has wiggle to him that you just don't see. Gronk has no wiggle to him. He's Frankenstein monster.
Right.
But he can beast you. And in 2011, he just got virtually unstoppable just on sheer beast mode kind of strength, where Brady would just look for him and he would just run through and over people. And he was just hard to get on the ground after he caught it. Well, this guy, you can bracket him, you can double him, you can triple him, and it's just hard because he has such a wavelength with Mahomes that they're running option routes in and out, and he's so quick for such a big man, and he can still shield you off. He can still, just wall you off with his body the way Jason Witten used to in his prime. But Jason Witten didn't have any wiggle to him.
No. And you need to have that, Skip. If you look at 3 of the top 5 receiving games from a tight end, they've come from tight ends in the West Coast system. Myself got the record. George Kittle is second with 213. Darren Waller just had 200. There's a reason why. Guys that can move in this offense, and that's why Kittle speaks so highly of it. That's why Kelce loved this offense. If you can run in this offense at that position, you're going to put up these numbers. You're going to have the numbers that you put up. And so the thing is that when you look at Gronk's, the season you're talking about, 2011, when he had 1,300 yards, he broke the record, 1,300 yards and 17 touchdowns. Wes Welker caught 122 passes for 1,562. He was second in receiving yards to Megatron. So now, Skip, you see what because everybody was trying to play in and out on Welker, and now you got Gronk just killing the safeties and the linebackers running the seam.
Nobody feared that Wes Welker was going to run past
he ain't running by you, Skip.
The only time I ever saw him run by anybody was in the second Eli Super Bowl, and Brady was a little high and outside to him because he just doesn't run those. It's just like he ran a post route. He just kept running right through the coverage.
Brady was trying to spare him. He ran a seam, Skip, and Brady saw the safety inside, so he tried to back shoulder him, but Wes was kind of running a little bit too fast, and he couldn't open his hips enough.
How many of those did you ever see Wes catch? Not many.
Not many, but that's a routine catch for
him. He should have caught it.
Yes.
It wasn't Brady's best throw.
It wasn't his best throw. Okay. But Brady was actually trying to protect him for the safety, because if he'd put it where he's supposed to, the safety, you want to take that shot into the back.
By the way, if Wes Welker catches that ball, we might be talking about 7.
Yeah, it'd been over. The Giants couldn't have got the ball back. But Skip, it's just when you look at Tyreek. Yes, Tyreek is the headliner, Skip, because of that speed. We see him do things that we've never seen the receivers do. The way he could just take a 5-yard route and get 70 yards down the field, like 2 steps, he's full speed.
Clearly, he's the most lethal deep threat in pro football today.
Yeah.
But Travis Kelce is the most lethal first down threat in football today, because to your point about 79 first downs on 3rd down to 57 for Tyreek. Well, what a security blanket. 3rd and 5, 3rd and 7, 3rd and 4.
And 92.
Guess who? I'll just throw it.
And he got another 90. He got another 13, Skip, in the postseason. And it's no coincidence that both guys have gone over 100 yards receiving in both games. Now, although Tyreek doesn't have any touchdowns, but you look at those monster numbers that he had against Buffalo. He broke the game open. And that's what you have to worry about, because they have so much speed, Skip. And that's why people are afraid to blitz Mahomes, because they always have someone deep, and he can retreat and still throw the ball over your head. Bruce Arians was talking about how he retreated 15 yards and threw a ball 25 yards down the field. There are very few guys that can do that. And then I got a guy working underneath, and I got a guy going over the top of you. So they work great in tandem, and a lot of times, you notice, Skip, they put them on the same side. So we're going to make you, what you going to do? You're not doubling both of us on the same side.
No.
And Tyreek's getting out of there in a hurry.
Okay, so I'll give you this. Tyreek did catch 15 touchdown passes this year to Kelce's 11. But when I was rooting against Kansas City, the guy who scared me the most, as much as I fear and loathe Tyreek, it was Kelce. He's uncoverable. He's just going to get open. And the other, the wavelength that 15 has with 87 is off the charts, where he can just, any scramble mode, he's just going to look for 87. And 87's going to come back and get the ball.
It's kind of hard to get Tyreek, because Tyreek normally like 50 yards down the field, so it's kind of hard for him to get back. But Kelce does a great job of sliding, of what we call uncovering, and giving him a target to throw the football. Skip, I just think the thing is that what Tyreek does, Tyreek sends you to the trauma center. You already know you got a deep gash. When Tyreek gash you, you got a deep gash. Kelce just paper cut you to death. You got a foul. You're like, damn, I'm bleeding all over the place. Kelce done paper cut you first down, third down, first down, second down. Like, damn. Just when you think you about to get off the field, Skip, he uncovers and gets a first down, and here you got to go do it all over again. Come on, D, we got him to third down. We 3rd and 10. And they go Kelce again, get another first down. For a tight end to lead for regular season with first down catches, that's huge, Skip. That's huge.
Which is why, man, I got to make a case that this was the greatest tight end season ever. I know Gronk's 2011.
I would put Gronk's that 2011.
Okay, but Kelce had more yards, more receiving yards. He just didn't have the touchdowns. It was 17 to 11.
That's unheard of. People don't realize how many. There's only a handful of receivers that's ever had 17 or more touchdowns. For a tight end, man. My little measly 10, I thought I was doing something. Skip, I remember, you get a tight end, if you call 8 touchdowns, Skip, you were doing it. 10, they thought I was all world. These dudes get 11, 12, 15, 17. Think about what you call him. Devontae had 18, and we know how I got a tight end get 18, and with another guy on your team with 122 catches. How many? Nah, Skip. Hey, I would say Kelce. It's close, but I would lean Gronk. I would lead Gronk. 17 touchdowns, 1,300 yards.
14-16 for Kelce.
Inside out the last game.
105 catches.
I wish he'd played last game so he'd get like 1,500. He probably would have played, but put the record out there. Stephon Diggs, Skip.
Okay, so remember, Kelce missed again, didn't play that last game. And he still had 15 more catches than Gronk had in 2011. That's crazy to me.
They're unbelievable together. They're gonna be there for a while too, Skip.
Yep.
You got about 3-4 more years of that.
So I guess we should just call off the game on Sunday night.
No, they gonna play it. No, we gotta play this one.
Thinking, are we
gotta play this one.
the outcome at this point?
No mercy.
History is a series or collection of events. One name does not do it justice. It's a group of names. Dr. Martin Luther King, Frederick Douglass, Rosa Parks, Harriet Tubman, so many more. Malcolm X, Muhammad Ali, John Lewis, those that put their lives on the line. Some paid the ultimate price by losing their lives. Some put their lives on the line. The Freedom Riders that went city to city trying to get people out to vote so we could have rights in America that was afforded to us by the Constitution. So when I think of Black History Month, those are some of the names that I think.
Well said, Shannon. When the Buccaneers and Chiefs squared off Week 12, Kansas City blitzed Tom Brady on 48% of passing plays. That's 21% more than Brady was blitzed in other games this season. And on the flip side, the Buccaneers' 17% was much lower than the team's normal blitz rate of 42%. Of course, blitzing Mahomes less resulted in a Chiefs win in Tampa that day. So, Shannon, if you were either of the defensive coordinators, what would you do this time around?
Well, I try to mix it up, Skip. I've always felt that the team that lost had the decided advantage because we lost. The team that won, okay, we had a perfect game plan. We won. Threw for 462 yards. We blitzed Tom. We picked him off. We sacked him a couple of times. What do we need to change? But the team that lost is preparing for you to do the exact same thing that you did. So I think they're going to try to feel it out first. They know they've got to get Tom Brady off his spot. Tom Brady not sacked is a recipe for Tom Brady's 7th Super Bowl win. Yep. Tom Brady under duress. Tom Brady even if you don't sack him, Skip, you got to move him off that spot. And if you can move him off that spot, you can have success. Teams don't blitz Mahomes because I'm not willing to sacrifice my back end with Tyreek and Mecole Hardman running by me. They've always got some running deep. Now, it's looking like they're going to have Sammy Watkins back. Sammy Watkins didn't have that breakout season that we know he's capable of, but he's capable of throwing a 100-yard game on you. He can have a big game. Now you bring Watkins back into the equation to put in with Tyreek, to put in with Hardman and Kelce. I don't know if you really want to blitz Mahomes because his quarterback rating is damn near perfect when you blitz him.
Yep.
So, plus Tampa saw something in Green Bay. They're playing with backup linemen, the Chiefs. We got to Rodgers with just 4.
5 times.
And we didn't have to sacrifice our back end. I don't believe they blitzed him this time either, Skip. I believe they believe JPP and Shaq Barrett can get home, and we don't have to sacrifice our back end. Because if we can get home with 4 without having to sacrifice our back end, it's going to be smooth sailing.
Okay. So I must tell you, when I read these numbers last night, my jaw dropped. I had no idea that Kansas City, under Coach Spags, had gone after Tom Brady 48% of the snaps. It's way more than they usually do. It didn't,
especially early.
That's what I'm saying. It didn't sort of focus in my brain that was happening. But then I start to think back, yeah, they were coming after him all day long.
They brought Honey Badger a lot.
A lot. And conversely, Tampa blitzed 42% of the time through the regular season, and that day only 17%. Okay, so I'll start with Todd Bowles. High regard for him. Top 5 defensive coordinator. Deserves another head coaching job. That 17%, that may be high for what I would do. I don't even know if I'd do that at all. I think I would just play it straight. Play it as straight as I can. See how the game goes.
Right, especially if I can get home with 4?
Yeah.
Why would
see if early on I can create a little havoc with 4. If I can move him a little bit, if I can hit him a couple of times early with just 4, then I'm going to stay put because the 2 inside backers can fly. They're both really good blitzers, especially Devin White. He may be their best pass rusher, just pure pass rusher. But he can also, as we saw against Drew Brees, he can drop and cover. He can run with anybody.
And what they try to do, Skip, they always try, what they're trying to do with him is that they're trying to cover up your lineman and try to get him on a running back because he's just going to run slap over it. He's not swimming. He's not dodging. He's putting his shoulder in your chest, and he's Mack trucking you. And he's getting to your quarterback.
So, to me, Tampa has to stay with that blueprint of just back off. We need to double Kelce, and we need to double Tyreek, and then we just hope for the best with the rest of them.
Right.
If Sammy gets 100, tip your cap, right? But flipping around the other way, Tom Brady is 43 years of age. As we always say, it's a quick duck and cover. If he sees it before you see it. If you got him on a play, if you corner blitz him and nobody sees it and the back's going the other way and he's unprotected, he just lives to play another play, right? He just folds up and drops. Okay, so why wouldn't you do that even more? At 48%, and to demonstrate what I'm talking about, he did throw 2 picks in the third quarter against Kansas City.
He did.
Back in November 29th. If we could see these 2 picks that he threw, what happened on these 2? First one, guess who just hit him right in the mouth? Honey Badger just hit him right in the mouth, and he underthrew a little bit to Scotty Miller, who might have had a step.
But you see, the thing is, Scotty Miller wasn't did it. Scotty Miller free release. They jammed him at the line. They look at Breland in his jock. So you got a speed guy. You got the jamming.
But look who's
Honey Badger.
Honey Badger got home.
But you see what they did, Skip? They do something that very few teams are willing to do to Brady.
Now,
they blitzed him in his face.
Real quick. This is Sorensen. The safety is coming on this play. I don't know what he does. He decides either I can't get there and I back off, or he was trying to fake him out.
Yeah, he faked him out because he knew the tackle would block down. And so that let Clark go scot-free.
So the throw hits the safety right in the helmet and bounces into an untimely interception.
If you watch the Honey Badger play, Skip, they do something that very few teams will do to Tom Brady. They brought the blitz in his face because a lot of people don't want you to see the blitz. But what I believe Spags was trying to do, I don't want him to escape to his dominant arm. So if he escapes, I want him to roll left and see if he can open his hips and throw his body. I don't want him to roll right to his dominant hand and be able to throw off and throw play.
Well, obviously, Honey Badger came into his right side.
Right. And so very, very few people want that's why they say the blind side. You bring the blitz from the blind side, get hit in the back.
Yep.
But Tom Brady, they brought it to his face because they want him to move the opposite way, away from his dominant hand.
Okay. Obviously, when Tom has struggled the most is when he's got pressure up in his face. Sometimes it can come because the pocket gets pushed. But over his career, we've seen Denver push the pocket in the AFC Championship game. We saw back to the Strahan Giants just push the pocket like crazy right up in his face. It's hard on him.
Yeah.
He's not mobile. We know that.
Right.
Okay, he doesn't have escapability. We saw a couple times, if you let him out the window, he will jump out the window to the right. We saw a couple times this year where rolling to his right, he's still not bad.
He made some great throws. He threw one to AB, he threw a couple of,
And he threw one to LaShawn McCoy.
Right.
Remember that?
He dropped it against Carolina.
Okay. So the point is, they're going to come after him, and it's up to Leonard Fournette to have as good a day blitz pickup as he does carrying the football, or Ronald Jones, whoever in the game, because you have to pick it up.
Yes.
You have to get one of them, or he's done.
Right.
Right?
And plus, Skip, I just think the thing is that the Chiefs are going to find out, because they're preparing for Spags to bring pressure again. So that's why when you lose, Skip, you have the advantage, because they won by blitzing him. Tom Brady and the offensive coordinator, Byron Leftwich and Bruce Arians, they're like, look, they're probably going to do that recipe again because it worked out well for them. So here's going to be our counter. Maybe they shorten the routes. Maybe, okay, the hot route's coming right here. Maybe Tom missed a few hot throws that he won't miss this time.
I would agree.
So I just think the thing this time, let's see if we can, if Chris Jones, let's see if Frank Clark, let's see if we can get home with 4.
Yep.
And if we don't have success, now we got to heat him up. But I wouldn't start off doing what I did last time, because you've lost the element of surprise because you've done it before.
Okay. I will say this to Brady's credit. The last 3 quarters of that game, he threw for 313 yards. They did not have the ball that much because it was 37 minutes for Mahomes to 23 for Tom. But he threw for 313, and he had 2 long fourth-quarter drives that did get them back within striking distance at 27-24.
Well, the biggest key, Skip, blitz, no blitz, is that red zone. Whose defense plays the best in the red zone? Because you're going to have to make somebody settle for field goals, and you're going to have to, it's going to be imperative that if you get off the field on 3rd down.
Yep.
Somebody goes 50% on 3rd down, you're asking for trouble. Either team, Brady or Mahomes goes 50% on 3rd down, the opposing team's probably going to lose the game.
Yeah. So in the end, it's shocking to me, both defenses played completely out of character against a Brady and a Mahomes.
Right.
So they flipped the script on each other, and I think that script will stay flipped in this game.
You think so?
Yep.
Well, just what I know. I know Murphy Bunting, and I know Carlton Davis hadn't gotten any faster, and I know Tyreek hadn't gotten any slower. So whatever you did last time, I wouldn't advise you to do that.
Okay, I will bet you this.
What?
I would even bet a case of dew on this.
So he'll get 203.
He doesn't get 203 in the first quarter. Will you give me that over under?
No.
I'll take under 203 in the first quarter.
I'm going to give it, I say you get 150 in the game. You think he gets 150 in the game?
I'm not going to bet against it. I'm not.
Skip, 150 yards, that's a lot of yards.
Not for him. That seems like one play. Seems like he gets 150 a play, right?
You guys need to make more bets about this one at this point. I feel like we haven't
He
made
tried to get some
enough
prop
bets
bets.
right
He tried to get the easy prop bets off it.
Yeah, something.
No mercy.
New tracks, new teams, and of course, a new champ. The 2021 NASCAR season starts in just 2 weeks with the Great American Race, the Daytona 500, February 14th, only on Fox. Well, welcome back. And joining us now, Saints All-Pro defensive end Cam Jordan, who, of course, faced Tom Brady and the Buccaneers 3 times this season. Cam, it is so good to have you with us. I got to start by asking, how hard is it to see Brady and the rival Bucs in the Super Bowl?
Look, it's not the first time we've seen a division opponent in the Super Bowl. I'm not saying I'm rooting against them, but I am, I've faced them enough to know that I have ultimate respect for what they can do on the field.
So, Cam, I need your help on this. In my lengthy career, I cannot remember a beat-down turnaround like the one I witnessed starting on that night of November 8th, that Sunday night at Tampa, and then 2 months plus later, that January 17th playoff game at New Orleans. The whole script got flipped, and that Sunday night, you guys had annihilated Tampa. You had humiliated Tampa, And what changed? Did the Bucs get that much better? Did you guys just have an off game? What changed so dramatically in the playoff game?
Look, anytime you take the field, as you know, it's any given Sunday. But you talk about, the first two games and the third game, the difference being it's not like, Tom threw for 300-400 yards. He threw for, I think it's right under 200 yards. The ground game, the second game, I think they ran for 8 total yards. This time they ran for, I think Leonard had 60 on the ground. That field position was the main difference. I mean, they put up 21 points with under 65 yards of offense. And I think Shannon has said it earlier. You gotta eliminate some of the 7 points on the board. You got to make them kick field goals. So that didn't happen, and you saw the sway that happened our way. I mean, did we think we were better than them? Yeah, but we gave them every chance and every reason to win that game. I mean, when they have a short field, you have to eliminate that 7-point possibility.
I watch you guys up 7, and it looks like you're going there. You're going to bare minimum, you're going to get a field goal, and Jerry Cook fumbles the ball, and it seems from that point on, they got the momentum, and you guys were never able to get it back. Do you feel that was one of the major turning points of the ball game?
In any given game, it's not just one major moment. But you think about, how the second half unfolded the way it did. These are, plays you wish you could have back.
So, Cam, you've seen Tom Brady now up close and personal 3 times at age 43. Give us your view of him at this stage and age. What are you seeing from Brady?
It's playoff Tom. I mean, if that's a thing, I mean, he's got 6 rings for a reason. I mean, this is 10th Super Bowl to come in there. When you're able to get pressure on him early, when you're able to, clog up that middle, that interior pressure push is going to be huge to affect him. I mean, once he's affected, it can change the whole diameter of how you play the game. So this is just something that, being aware of who he is. I mean, it's not like you have to worry about how mobile he is. He's not going to escape the pocket. He's not going to just take off and beat you with his feet, but he is going to make all the right throws. He's able to dissect the defense immediately.
Do you see any decline at all in him at this age? Do you see any lack of, loss of arm strength or quickness of release?
Now, if anything, his release is getting faster because he knows he's not trying to get hit. I mean, when you talk about he's well aware that he's 43. I mean, and his ability again to register defenses, to attack a defense with the intermediate throws, the shallow routes, the check downs that have been so valuable to him. I mean, he's got all the weapons to do so. You talk about Antonio Brown, Gronkowski, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Leonard Fournette, Jones in the backfield. They've got every weapon imaginable to make up for anything about him holding the ball or trying to make those deep passes each and every time. And he's coming in with the ability to get the ball out the fastest in the league.
You're one of the best people to talk about this because you faced both teams. You faced Kansas City, you lost to them, and you lost in the divisional round to the Bucs. What do you like about the Chiefs in this matchup, and what do you like about the Bucs in this matchup?
I don't like nothing about either one. If it's not the Saints, I don't have any sort of nothing about, nobody. But if you say, who's more dangerous, I would, maybe tilt the scale towards the Kansas City Chiefs. When you talk about Tyreek Hill being one of the fastest in the game, you talk about, Travis Kelce being the best tight end in the game right now. You talk about what Chris Jones can bring in terms of that interior push. And of course, I'm always rooting for a former Saint and Alex Okafor. I think that, they have a slight edge with Mahomes being the playmaker that he is, able to, wheel, deal, and push out anything he wants to. I mean, he'll throw left-handed, he'll throw across the body in the middle. He'll throw no-look passes. I mean, the ability for them to surprise an offense is second to none in this league.
What makes Mahomes so special? Because, watching him, I mean, you get an opportunity. Obviously, you're trying to get him on the ground, but you watched him on tape. You watched him on film. What makes him so special?
His ability to make those types of plays that you don't expect. He'll roll out right. He'll roll out left. If anything, again, he's always looking for this downhill play. It's a lot like playing Russell Wilson. He escapes the pocket, and yet he's still looking downfield to make those big electric plays. And at the same time, he is a bigger body. He can take off with his feet, so you have to be well aware. You're trying to keep him in the pocket. At the same time, you're still trying to get to him. I mean, He's somebody who can beat you with his arm.
So, Cam, what happened in that game at New Orleans late in the year, December 20th, when Kansas City visited? Again, the score is 32-29, so it looks like you're in the game. But I look at the time of possession. Mahomes had the ball 41 minutes to your 19 minutes. And Kansas City went 9 out of 18 on third down, and your offense went 1 of 11. And yet you were still just 3 points shy. Break that down for us.
That's easily done. We were looking forward to that rematch. I mean, if you look at that time of possession and you see how close the game is, we like the way we were matching up. We just didn't finish the game the way we wanted to.
Okay.
So who are you picking in this game? You got to pick somebody. I know you don't care who wins, but you got to give us something, Cam. Give us something.
Look, I can only promise you two. Look, I can only promise you two things. There's going to be a red team that wins it, and it's probably going to be a quarterback who's won the Super Bowl to win it again. That's all I can give you.
You really went on a limb on that one.
I tried.
So let me ask you this: What do you see the keys? Because Skip and I were discussing it before, is that in the first game, Kansas City blitzed Tom Brady 48% of the time, where the Bucs only blitzed Mahomes 17% of the time. Do you see that trend continuing? Because if you look at the way they approached Green Bay, they didn't blitz at all. JPP and Shaq Barrett just got home.
Yeah, two different quarterbacks there. I mean, you can for sure see more blitzes coming to affect Tom Brady. Again, the early and often you can put pressure on him. You can make those hits on Tom. The more success you're going to have in the game. But it might just come down to whose interior pressure is better. I mean, you talk about Ndamukong Suh and Vita Vea going after Mahomes versus, Chris Jones in that interior pocket. That's going to be the key play in my mind.
By the way, Cam, does Brady talk at all during the games? Did you try talking to him? Did he talk back?
Yeah, absolutely. But does he talk back? No. I mean, he's got a phenomenal life. Quarterbacks are good people. Now, I would say David Onyemata definitely put a hit on him. He got upset, but he's getting upset at the ref for not protecting him. Yeah. I mean, you know how this league is now. Quarterbacks get halos and they're not even at practice anymore. Look like they're on the field looking for a red jersey still.
So we haven't talked about this, but this is an elephant in the room. Drew Brees may not retire. What are your thoughts on Drew and his future?
Drew's a go to the game. You talk about what he's accomplished on the field. It puts him first ballot Hall of Fame, no doubt. I mean, this is somebody who I played with for the last 10 years, and I haven't had to worry about him retiring. So I don't really have to worry about that until he does. I've had to worry about rumors every year since I've been a part of the Saints. Rumors of him being traded, rumors of him, rumors of et cetera, et cetera. I mean, I've never had to worry about it. So I'll cross that bridge when I do. If it does end up retiring, then I'll call him and say my goodbyes then. But until it happens, I don't even have to worry about it.
So obviously Drew had a rough finish to the season. How much was that due to injuries and how much was that due to age?
I feel like, everybody on the outside of the locker room throws age around so fast when it comes to guys like Tom Brady and Drew Brees, Phillip Rivers, even, every other year, Aaron Rodgers. But when you see what, how they take to the game, that's nothing that, age is just a number for them. But what I do see, is this year he definitely played with so many ribs broken. I mean, he had the hand issue last year. He's faced a lot of adverse situations the last 2 years, and yet we still overcame as a team. So he's come back and played the way that we expect him to. It didn't go down the way we wanted to this last game. And that's something that, we'll take as an anomaly because we know who Drew Brees is as a quarterback.
If Drew does retire, is there a preference? Would you like to see them re-sign Jameis, give him an opportunity, or Taysom? They re-sign Taysom with an opportunity, with saying that he would get an opportunity to replace. Do you believe you guys can get back in Super Bowl contention without Drew Brees?
I believe that we've shown as a team we've won with Drew Brees, of course, and gone far with Drew Brees, as well as in regular season. You've seen Teddy Bridgewater take him where we went 5-0, Taysom take him when we went 3-1 with them at quarterback. So I believe that we have a winning organization, a winning locker room, a winning team that can propel us well into the playoff situation. But we are looking for a Super Bowl, and I do believe that if the organization ordains Jameis to be a starter, we'll be just fine with that.
So you pretty much guaranteed before this season started that you would finish first in the division. Will you give us that guarantee going into next year? You will win this division again next year.
I was so adamant about, the winning the division being the first checklist off, first check off the box. And that happened. That was the first step that's going to happen. We've won it 4 years in a row, but I no longer care about being the king of South if that doesn't bowl. I want a Super Bowl.
Nothing wrong with that, bro. Nothing wrong with that.
Love it. Cam, thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it. I know you want that Super Bowl, so we look forward to watching you back in action next season. And we'll check in with you soon. Stay safe and well.
No mercy.
What a ride it's been for Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. Brady goes for the deep shot. He's got a touchdown! Oh, my God!
Tom Brady, you're the real deal. The Bucs win. Bucs win. Tampa Bay is heading to the Super Bowl. My goodness. 3 consecutive post-game wins on the road. It's been remarkable.
That just got me so excited. Tom Brady has set yet another record. According to Fanatics, Brady has become the best-selling NFL player ever over the past week, leading up to the Super Bowl. And it's not only Florida that's been supporting Brady. The New York and Boston markets are both top 5 in Brady merchandise sales. So, Shannon, are you surprised New York and Boston are so high on this list?
Not Boston, because guess what Boston has, Skip? They have 9 other Super Bowl jerseys. So I'm going to get that number 10. It's just like LeBron.
Okay.
I guarantee you there are fans out there, Skip, that have LeBron Cleveland's finals jersey, Miami's finals jersey, and Lakers finals jersey. It's like the Ben series, and I don't want to get too specific, but the Ben series Jordan. There are a lot of people, or the Duck series of the Jordan brand, Skip. You're going to keep it. It don't matter what the shoe looks like. I'm going to get it because it's in that series. Tom Brady, 10, Skip. People want to say, I got all 10. There are a lot of people that got every Tom Brady New England jersey, the throwback, the O's, all that. So I am not surprised. Now, I'm shocked, New York. The Jets, the Giants, Tom Brady beat y'all like drums, Jets. Why y'all buying this jersey? Giants, you faced the guys twice in the Super Bowl. Why you buying this jersey? So I'm shocked that New York is gobbling up these jerseys.
How do you explain it?
I can't explain it, Skip. I cannot explain
Remember, it is a melting pot of people from everywhere.
I get that, Skip, but it's hard for me to. New York, like I said, I believe the Boston fans, hey, they probably got the 9 other Patriots, says, hey, I'm going to add this to my collection. Tampa, Orlando, that's right. They're right 30 minutes, 40 minutes away from each other. I get that. I don't get New York. Now, guess what? If 4 or 5 years from now, we got Patrick Mahomes going to his 4th or 5th, it'll be the highest selling because, hey, I got the other 3 or 4. I might as well get this 5th one.
So here's what's funny about this to me. Here's a man, Tom Brady, who never says anything memorable.
No.
Who works as hard as he does at winning football games at being non-committal and non-controversial, as we open the show talking about today.
Agree.
This is a man who, as a quarterback, never does anything spectacular. He is spectacularly unspectacular because it's straight textbook. He can bore you to death because all it is just classic execution. And if you're not rooting for him, it's hard to love him.
Yeah, he's developed a way, Skip, of opening his mouth and not saying nothing.
Correct. And he has, on the field, no signature play. No. There's no walk-off pass. There's nothing spectacular. He's never thrown a left-handed pass in his life. Looks. There's no look. There's no between the legs. There's no behind the back. There's no edge to this man.
Right.
Yet, to me, he has become the biggest lightning rod in the entire NFL world. Because you're either going to really, really like him or you're really, really not going to like him. So he has transcended even the city of New York, again, a melting pot, because there's a part of that population that really loves Tom Brady, whether they love the Jets and the Giants also, or whether they're from Cleveland or from Kansas City or wherever they're from. They just love Tom Brady. So they're going to buy a new jersey because that's a new look.
Yeah.
You know, I got the flip side. I got the pewter one.
Right.
It's my good luck charm. My magic carpet is that jersey.
But Skip, I mean, think about it.
Okay.
10 Super Bowl jerseys?
Okay, I got that. But remember, in New England, he was there for 20 years.
Right.
So it's not like LeBron where I'm going to take my talents to South Beach,
Right.
then I'm going to come home.
Right.
No, he just stayed there
Right.
the whole time.
Right.
He's 43 years old. He's very late in the career by most standards, even though he says I'm going to play 3 more years at least. But for the New England fans, remember, they're buying into the notion he was the dynasty more than Bill Belichick.
Right.
Because he won this year. You can say maybe Bill will bounce back next year, but right now, he is winning.
Yeah, but Skip, I also think that they might be still Patriots fans, but they're Tom Brady fans.
Yeah, but
So
I'm saying they finally transcended. We're just not just Patriot fans. We're more his fans.
Yeah.
It's more about him. I told you, as I wrote for FoxSports.com, I don't like the Patriots.
Right.
I don't like the Bucs.
Right.
I've been won over by that guy.
Right.
So, again, I bought his jersey, not because I'm like some fanatical fan, but I needed to rub
That's
your
a
nose in it.
knockoff.
Huh?
You ain't even get the real one.
I
That's
got
a
the real
knockoff.
one. I went NFL.com on
You
this.
got to do it.
Yeah, and by the way, I ordered it like, when did he sign with them? Like in March, it seemed like, or whenever it was. It took like 4 months to get it because they were so backed up.
Yeah.
Okay? I can't pull any strings like you do. I'm not in the Hall of Fame. I'm just some guy.
So ordering a jersey.
So the point is, in New England, in Patriot Nation, they're buying that jersey because they're still hanging on to Tom. He was the Patriots to them more than the coach.
Yeah, of
because
course.
they look at the coach, he's going nowhere slowly because you're going to do what next year?
And plus, the thing is, Skip, is likability. Tom is likable. I don't think it really anybody like Coach Belly. I mean, look, we love that he's done a great job. He's won these Super Bowls, but they like Tom. Tom is palatable.
Yeah. Okay.
And so I think that's how they look at Tom. And even though Tom is in Tampa, he's our Brady.
Okay.
He's ours.
Okay. Yet when Joe Montana was sort of pushed out the door like Brady was in New England, and when he wound up in Kansas City, and they did have a nice run, and they did make the playoffs, and they got to the AFC Championship game against Buffalo, right? I don't recall, I could be wrong, but I don't recall 49ers buying Montana, Kansas City jerseys in droves.
Well, they probably wouldn't have, Skip, but here's the thing. You got to realize the year that before he left, Steve Young was the MVP.
Okay.
So if they'd had an MVP, I mean, you got Cam, you got Stidham, and you got Hoyer.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
You're going where?
So if now they get to the Super Bowl next year, if they get a guy the next 2 years, taking them to the Super Bowl.
Okay, it might flip. But
Yes.
do you see that happening?
No.
I don't see that happening.
No, I didn't say that.
Okay. Peyton Manning got pushed out the back door by Jim Irsay in Indianapolis. He's done. He's washed up. He's never going to come back from the neck injury, the neck surgery. And he knocks on the door of John Elway in Denver. Hey, can I play? Yeah, we'll give you a shot. We got this guy Tebow, and we did sort of steal the division. But Peyton Manning, we'll give you a shot.
Right.
And the rest is history.
Right.
He should have won a couple of MVPs, but Adrian Peterson won one of them.
Yeah.
Okay, do you recall a deluge of Peyton Denver jerseys being bought in Indianapolis? Because I don't.
Skip, I don't know if we cut. Man, that was
Okay,
so
well,
long
what
ago,
happened?
Skip.
What had just happened? They got Andrew Luck. They fell right into the first overall pick, and that's why they said, we're done with Peyton. We got Andrew Luck.
Right.
So the fandom's emotion, Colts Nation, it just goes completely on to, let's ride with Luck.
You're right. Unless we get a transcendent guy, we think, well, I'm just going to go with the other guy, even if he leaves the team.
Yeah.
Because that's how a lot of people do. A lot of people, Skip, are like you. They might not be, per se, a fan of the team. They're a fan of the player. And so if he goes, I go too.
Okay.
I mean, hey, Lakers, I root for the Lakers, but LeBron leave, I'm going too.
Okay. But yet LeBron has moved several times, and it took him 20 years to move.
Yeah.
And we've never seen anything like it. And not only did he move, he just beat Drew Brees and Aaron Rodgers on the road.
I mean, but Skip, people don't understand this. Let me put this in context. This dude got more Super Bowl jerseys than most people got Pro Bowl jerseys.
Okay.
Do you know how that is? I mean, it's hard to get to the It's hard to get to the Pro Bowl. It is. I mean, hey, but the Super Bowl, he got 10.
Okay.
Lined up across his wall, but he got to build a bigger house. He might need to go back and buy Jeter's house even for sale. And so he needs space for all those Super Bowl jerseys that he's got. and the 14 Pro Bowl jerseys that he's got, and all those Lombardis that he's got lined up down the hall.
Okay.
And all those MVP trophies he got lined up down the hall.
So I don't think you should be shocked by New York because
I'm shocked, Skip.
I just think
Skip, they're loyal.
Okay, but the people who love him really love him.
But Skip, New Yorkers, what I learned about New Yorkers, they love New Yorkers. And then, you know, if you ain't a New Yorker, Skip, they don't really get down with you like that.
Okay. How long has it been since the Giants were that relevant? It's been a while.
It's been a minute.
And it's been a lot of minutes on the Jets, right?
Oh, damn, big since, what, 69?
And now Madison Square Garden, the mecca of basketball, is known for visiting performances, not home team performances, right? It's just that, you're playing in the Garden, so you got to light it up, right?
Or somebody, or Jay-Z doing a concert, or Kevin Hart selling out for a comedy tour, not for basketball.
Okay, so they're gravitating to that guy.
Yes.
Why not?
It's just a matter of time for, he ain't got nothing on old Goat James.
No.
I guess who had the hottest merchandise last year in the NBA?
I don't
You do know. You do know. Don't pretend like you don't.
Well, that's after they won.
No. Before, Skip. You do realize we got the 10 first, right? We got the 10 first. 10 NBA Finals. We did it first. About to be 11.
It's about to be 7-4 in victories.
It's about to be 6-5 in victories.
6-5?
6-5.
How many cases are you going to bet on that?
6-5. Huh? With another MVP.
Oh, so now you're trying to make the case that LeBron is the overall GOAT of all sports?
Let's go. This is not LeBron. LeBron has gone through enough. What he had to endure the other night, no man should have to go through that. The heckling and the torment that he went through.
Too bad.
That we don't do that.
I think he's going to survive. I think he's going to be just fine.
Yeah, I think he came out on top of that one. And you know, LeBron is a Tom Brady fan, so maybe
I might have 10 NBA Finals jerseys.
I don't think LeBron is a Tom Brady fan. I think he's trying to do GOAT by association.
No, Skip. Don't do that. Don't do that, man. That's a standalone. Skip, that's a standalone. That's a standalone. Don't do that, Skip.
No.
It's a very elite, exclusive group to be a part of.
No mercy.
33 points wasn't enough to outduel Kyrie Irving's 39 and the Nets last night. James Harden had a 23-point, 11-rebound, 14 assists, triple-double, and Kevin Durant chipped in with another 28 points. And after the 4-point win, Kyrie said, quote, "It was great competition for the top players in the world. Some of the top players in the world to go against each other on TV." So, Shannon, was that a finals preview last night?
I thought the Brooklyn played the Clippers. You know the preview, the Lakers.
They did.
I still believe, Skip, look, when it's all said and done, I still believe you're going to have to play defense at some point in time. You're going to have to get stops in crucial situations. I mean, I heard, boy, the Clippers got the two best wing defenders. Skip, what good is having the two best wing defenders if you let somebody get 36 points in the fourth quarter when you got a lead? I'm just trying to figure that out. You got a 2-point lead going into the fourth.
You just said let somebody?
Yeah, okay, let me ask you a question.
These are three big somebodies.
So I just want to know, which guy did Paul George have? Because Kevin Durant was 11-13, Kyrie was 15-23, and James Harden was 7-15. Which guy did Kawhi take, and which guy did Paul George take?
You ever heard of great offense?
No.
Trumps.
No.
Good defense?
I want to know the guy in the playoffs that lit Jordan up, that lit Scottie Pippen up. Because that's what they say. They're even better than Scottie and Mike, the two best wing defenders. And KD got 11. KD shot 20 times, he had 50. But he only shot 13, so he had 28. Kyrie got whatever he want, whenever he want, however he wanted. Walking to the basket on you. Remember last year the conga line that Luka had? And I told you, Skip, baby. I said, Skip, your defense trash. You laughed at me.
Where is Luka now?
I don't know. Worry about Luka. Luka doing Luka thing. But I'm talking about Kyrie dancing on y'all. No, this is not you know what? You're not going to believe anything I tell you. I can show you better than I can tell you.
Okay. So I'm going to start with the Nets. Did you not see the best team in the East last night? Because that's what I saw.
Yes, okay, I believe they are the best team.
Let's start with the East.
Yes.
Okay. People said this won't work. They will not fit together. This was the all-time fit game for me because Kevin Durant has low to no ego as far as scoring big points. He's got 2 rings. He's fine with that. He wants a third one a different way. He wants to show Golden State, watch what I can do with the new cast of characters. So He takes 13 shots last night and makes 11 of them. That's absurdly great. And he scores 28 points on 13 shots. Do you know how freakish great that is?
Yeah, I do.
And he says, I'll just take 1 3 tonight, but I'll make that 3. And I'll only get to the line 5 times, but I'll make all 5 free throws. And by the way, I'll chip in with a measly 9 rebounds. But guess who led the team in rebounds?
James
the
Harden.
point guard. He had 11. The point guard had 14 more assists. He's running away with the assist title because he's at 11.2 to Russell Westbrook's 9.5. What? It's the perfect fit because I left out the guy who led the team in scoring. Kyrie went crazy. Like, Kyrie's crazy, all right, like crazy great.
Yeah.
You know, he's crazy
So
great.
which one of them guys did Paul George and Kawhi have?
So Kyrie scored 39. These are the 3 greatest shot-making scorers we've ever seen on one team. The 3 greatest. I don't think it's even close. I know you can go back to Wilt and Jerry West and Elgin Baylor. I got it. Yeah. But 3. We can do lots of 2s or we can do lots of 1s. Michael Jordan at the top. Right. But you can't do 3.
No, not 3.
And they're all gifted.
All ball handlers.
Like ball handling shot makers where they can get their own like that. And they can get it in so many different ways. Kyrie was going globetrotter on him last night. Yeah. He made a couple of up and under dipsy-do shots at the rim where I said, that's just silly.
But, Skip, I want to ask you a question, Skip. You keep telling me about Kawhi and how great they are defensively. Skip, what good is 800 credit if I can't get a damn loan?
Okay.
I said that because I got 800 credit. I like to think that I could go to some bank, some financial institution, and they give me a loan. Okay. What good is having Kawhi and Paul George if you can't get stops?
Right. I'm not finished with the Nets because the Nets, you've told me, play no defense.
They don't.
And to me, when they want to play, they can play good enough defense.
No.
Yes, they
Skip,
can.
they hope they miss. I mean, Skip, they gave up 30 points.
What they did on Kawhi in the fourth quarter last night was special.
Kawhi not a closer.
Well, I told you that.
Okay, then.
Lou Williams, and I don't know what's happened to him. I don't know if he's hit the wall or I don't know. Is he just lemon pepper
sauce hard to get off? Say once that lemon pepper get on your fingers, it's hard to get off.
Is the ball kind of sticking to your fingers a little bit?
And what about PG?
Okay, so those guys played great offense last night, and yet how can you stop this juggernaut on offense? And when this juggernaut wants to play defense, we've seen it twice this year. We saw it against Milwaukee. They held Milwaukee to 123, and you can laugh about that, but that's good enough to win the game because they won by 2. Last night, they held the Clippers, the team leading the league in three-point shooting and free throw shooting, to 120 points. That will work because you can certainly score 124 even against a pretty good defensive team in the Clippers.
Think about this here. In the James Harden 10 games, the 120 points is the 3rd best defensive game that they've had.
Okay, but they play up and down to the level of competition. If it's the Wizards, the COVID-racked Wizards on some whatever night, Monday night, they're not up for it. They should have won both. They've won every game with James Harden except 2. They lost a game at Cleveland when Kyrie obviously got fouled at the end of regulation. And
when Sexton?
Yeah,
when Sexton, that All-NBA guard went bonkers on y'all?
No, well, he went after the wrong call because they called Kyrie for an offensive foul. He got hammered right against the leg. It should have been 2 free throws to win the game.
Why were you in that situation?
Okay, because they don't care. They're like, we'll just roll the ball out there and they'll roll
So
over.
are they going to be thinking that you can just roll the ball out in the playoffs?
Well, they've still gone 7-2 since James got there.
Yeah.
That'll work. That's tied for the best record in the East since they've been there. Okay?
I mean, look at us. How we doing, Skip?
Okay.
Who got the best record in the West? Who got the best record in the West?
Going into last night, who had the best record in the NBA? I think it's the team in the basement, the Clippers.
Okay, well, who came out of last night with the best record in the NBA?
By default.
They don't be y'all played. You could have kept the best record.
Did you guys have to play at the Nets yet? No, but the Nets are coming to you, and watch what happens.
What you want to do, Skip?
A couple of weeks away.
Okay.
Now?
Oh, I mean, you make it seem like we
watch
scared.
What happens.
Watch AD.
Huh?
Watch AD. Watch old Goat James.
Oh, yeah. Well, watch.
You know what old Goat James do.
Yeah, they might give up 140 that night.
Who?
The Lakers.
We gonna get 146.
This is the best defense.
We gonna get 146.
Let's see.
If they give us 140, we getting 150.
So I saw an offensive juggernaut last night, down 5 with 7 minutes left.
Skip that.
Okay, down 5. The Clippers were in control. They were in control early.
Skip 7 minutes. You make it seem like you said 7 seconds.
Okay, 7 minutes left, and all of a sudden, a 13-0 run goes. And if we could please just see this 13-0 firepower go. Here we go. Kevin Durant, Nicholas Batum. You got no chance.
French toast.
Thank you. Then we
Here's
got
Nicholas
Nicholas
Batum.
Batum. Oh, I
Croissant.
picked. Splash.
Look at this.
Then we got
Look at Nicholas Batum again. Great poupon. He just making a mess of the Frenchman.
Nicholas Batum. Can you stay on your feet? No.
Pate. I mean, he's cooking it. Yeah, whatever you want.
On Nicholas Batum. Kaboom.
I don't know if French fries is from France, but that's good too.
13-0, and all of a sudden they're up 8, down 5 to up 8. I've never seen firepower like that.
No, Skip, I've never seen. Have you ever seen defense like that? Ole.
Oh, there's no Ole.
I mean,
Did you
good
see
thing.
what they did to Kawhi in the fourth quarter?
Hello, time out.
They beat him up. They roughed him up. They got physical with him. They just alternated. Kevin would take him, then Kyrie would take him, then
Do you
James.
remember what we did to him in the bubble? The first game in the bubble, you remember what we did to him? We locked him and Paul George up. You remember what Go James did on the last possession and made Paul George airball it? Did you forget that?
You were so lucky in the bubble. You dodged the bullet that was the Clippers.
It ain't no bullet.
You were so lucky.
Skip, we the gun.
Yeah.
The bullet ain't affected without the gun. We the gun.
Look how Tom Brady gets to Super Bowl. He goes the hard way. Has to go to Washington, number 2 defense. Has to go to Drew Brees. Has to go to Aaron Rodgers. And you guys dodge the Clippers, and you get the 5 seed in the finals without its 2 best players.
Skip,
really?
He beat a guy that was taking online classes to get his engineering degree in Washington. He beat a guy that had 11 broken ribs and a punctured lung and a fractured arm.
Yeah.
And Drew Brees.
Yeah, and I needed Heineke after that game.
No mercy.
Despite the Buccaneers reaching the Super Bowl in their home stadium, they will be without some home perks. And since the Super Bowl is technically a neutral field game, the NFL will not allow the Buccaneers to fire their customary cannons after touchdowns and big plays like normal. I like the music here, too. Shannon, should they be allowed to fire the cannons?
No, it's a neutral site game, Skip. Yeah, you can fire the cannon. But only if the Chiefs score, they get to fire the cannon also.
Oh,
because
it's not their stadium.
Hold on, it's a neutral site game, Skip. You know that. Yeah, that's what it's supposed to be. Now, they go around, so no, you get no benefit of this actually being a home game. So the NFL is absolutely right by this.
So I realize most people think the Bucs will be so much cannon fodder in this game, but you know, after I thought about it, they did go on the road 3 times to win the right to play in the first ever home Super Bowl. So shouldn't the cannons be part of their reward?
No,
Yes.
it's not a part of your reward.
Well, you won the right to get there.
Okay, you get to practice in your practice field. You get to stay in your stadium, sleep in your beds. That's all of the benefits you get.
I mean, how many Super Bowls have we played now? All of
55.
55. Okay, so 54 teams had the right to win. That they could have won the right
Well, the
to play.
closest was Joe Nem in Palo Alto. But no, Skip, no, you're not going to Canada, not going off. And besides, you're probably gonna hear it a couple of times anyway.
Really?
Rest of the time it's gonna be
I think it might just be blowing your ears out.
Oh, my homeboy gonna have the Canada.
Really?
Is that what it is?
My homeboy gonna be in that pirate ship. After the game, my homeboy gonna be up there letting the cannons go.
About the cannons. That is it for Undisputed. We're back at the same time tomorrow morning. The Herd is on right now. Have a good day, guys.